Hey, what is up? Welcome to this episode of the Entrepreneur to Entrepreneur podcast. As always, I'm your host, Brian Lofrumento, and I know that everybody is interested in technology. They're interested in software and hardware, and most of all, how we can stay protected in this ever-changing world where actually I feel like the threats are getting more and more complex and easier to fall for. Well, that's why I'm so excited for all of us to hear the thoughts, perspectives, and hear all about today's guest business, because we are joined by an incredible fellow entrepreneur. His name is Yogesh Nagarkar. Yogesh has over 2 decades of experience developing software and hardware stacks, and he loves tinkering and learning about all the bleeding edge chipsets in software. And it's really cool because all of that experience has culminated in his business and his product called Unpickle, which is a live network camera that lets you see what your Wi-Fi or wired network is doing and lets you control it via simple text. I think that there's so many interesting angles to his product and the way that he's developed it for users of all different tech aspects to use. Anytime I have to help my parents with their home Wi-Fi, it's not the easiest thing to do, especially remotely. So I'm really excited that there's incredible innovators like Yogesh in this space. We're going to learn a lot from him today, so I'm not going to say anything else. Let's dive straight into my interview with Yogesh Nagarkar. All right, Yogesh, I am so very excited that you're here with us today. First things first, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
Heck yes, I'm so excited to go deep into not only your business and your product, but your personal background as well, and all the things that you see at this really interesting period in time. So let's kick things off. Take us beyond the bio. Who is Yogesh? How'd you start doing all these cool things?
Yes, so going back, I grew up in a city in India, in Pune. I got my degree in engineering from Pune. I came over to the US, got my master's degree in computer science in Texas at Midwestern State, and then I got my first jobs in California and then Seattle, and then been here ever since. And while I was in Seattle, and I was working for a firewall company named WatchGuard. What they did, they make all these firewall appliances, and at that point, it just I used to come home and I used to watch my son go to all these weird websites. One of these websites is totaljerkface.com, and I was like, hey, what is this totaljerkface.com? I need to see what that website is. What is up with this website? So now I asked myself this question, and then I went to the website, and turns out it's a gaming site. And of course, okay, so this is a gaming site. I thought, well, administration of that website, like if I want to block it for some time, if I want to unblock it for some time, it tends to be hard. And most of the devices at the time were directed towards experienced users, like network administrators. So I said, let's simplify this. A person should be able to talk to their network. You should just be able to look at your network, see what your kid is doing, and just say, hey, block total jerk face. That's it. And that's exactly what Unpickle does. So all of this, like I kept on hammering it out like homework every day. And finally, like it turned out to be a viable product. And I got some samples to my friends and family, had them test, and they really liked it. So that's where we are. Like that's what Unpickle does. As soon as you open the app, it shows you exactly what all the devices are doing, what all the users are doing. So you have questions like, hey, what is this TV up to? Why is it sending like 5 gigs of data in a day? And then you're like, no, it should not be the case. Is it being hacked? Then in that case, you just say block TV, and then it does that for you. So, and then you can go and investigate what's going on with the network. But so Unpickle helps a lot with to a normal user to basically have complete control of their network. And anybody, like you just open the app, you see what your network is doing, and you react to it. That's how easy it should be, and that's what we're driving at. And so Unpickle is at a point where we are now on Amazon. We are selling devices that do exactly that, and the hope is that tomorrow you should be able to tell with the help of AI, whether a connection is secure or not. So, for example, if I go to a website which nobody's heard about, say for typical users, say demdex.com, which is a marketing website, and hey, I should not be sending data to demdex because I deem it unsafe. And then you should be able to just auto block it and not and protect users from any connection that is unsafe.
Yeah, it's such a cool overview, Yogesh, especially because, I mean, I am very much into technology and I have been ever since I was a teenager. And so dealing with routers, you called out your son for online gaming. That's something that as a teenager, I always had to go into our router settings and open custom ports. And it was very technical back then. I had to learn way too much about home networking, but I love what you're doing with Unpickle today because, I mean, you called it out. It's for everyday users. They may not be familiar, though, with what a live network camera looks like. And you kind of gave a little bit of the spoiler alert. Obviously, it's a piece of hardware that we buy, but where does it fit in with people's existing systems? Is this something that is new, that is different from what a home networking solution might have? Let's talk about my parents. Let's not talk about technical users. Is it something that they already have, like it replaces an Eero device, or how does that work?
Exactly. It does replace your current existing Wi-Fi routers. So your current Wi-Fi routers, they will have like parental controls, which do a subset of what Unpickle does. So, but what happens with a lot of people who are my parents' age is that they won't open the app. They won't like look at, hey, where are the UI settings for this? How do I even block a website? How do I even like block marketing? I can't. Like a normal user is like, they just get bored of it. So what you want to do is like you just open Unpickle and there you go. You have a live data stream of exactly what each device in your network is doing. And then you see all the network destinations that it is going to. So right now I can say, hey, my computer is making calls to Cursor. My computer is making a call to Google, and then you know exactly what that is doing. And Google in turn also sells your data to marketing websites. And if they do, and which you can avoid, is you say, hey, block all marketing websites. And then suddenly all the marketing stuff goes away, and those little pictures that you get on your screen, they get blocked. And you don't have to be an expert user to do that. You simply open the Unpickle app that basically talks to the Unpickle routers, and you type in a text, block marketing, or you can say block social media for 5 hours if you want your kid to do math, or you want him to do his homework, or history, or whatever it is that he should be doing, and Unpickle helps with that. And not only that, it also helps you with like my employees should not be on social media from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So what you do is like you just say it out to the router. You say block social media 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays, and that's it. You're done. So Unpickle provides an interface for that. The app, you just open the app, you see what every device is doing, and you see something you don't like, you block it right there. Or you can generalize things. You can just say like, hey, block social media 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So yes, you're absolutely right in that Unpickle replaces your Eero routers. We sell it in like a single router or combinations or a full Wi-Fi mesh of any number of routers. So it doesn't have to be 3 routers like Eero sells. You can order Unpickle in a set of 5 and have them in your backyard for if you so desire. So that's entirely up to you. But yes, all in all, it's a mesh Wi-Fi 6 routing system.
Yeah, Yogesh, it's so cool because you just rattled off so many different use cases that it makes me want to ask you from a strategic and a business perspective is what's your view on the gap that it plugs? Because I see so many benefits. I'm just like, this is a very powerful parenting tool. You just revealed that. It's also cybersecurity, eliminating hacks. You actually brought up a point earlier in the conversation that I don't want to gloss over is people have no idea where their network traffic is going right now. And if people are thinking, well, I don't do anything weird on my computer. Well, if you look at my network activity, my car is hooked up to my Wi-Fi, my iPad, my phone, my computers. Like we have all my security cameras hooked up to Wi-Fi. There's so much traffic happening on our home networks that what is this gap? Because it's solving so many, but I'm curious what market you're going after.
So right now, the first market that we are going after is the B2C market, because what happened was like initially we started out as, hey, this is for people who wanted to like use an advanced firewall. So, but we already had the routers. We had like B2B people who wanted to like replace their existing firewalls with Unpickle firewalls. But then we thought, hey, this is also useful to a normal consumer who just opens up the app. And if you and the major gap that it addresses today is that you don't know what your devices are doing, and in order to enforce a policy on your device, you don't even bother to do that, or if you do, it's extremely hard to do that. So basically what we're doing is we democratize network administrators, network administration, and you no longer have to be like an expert in network management, in IPAM, in all the DNS management, and all you do is you talk to the routers via the app, and the routers will do the right thing for you. So all in all, like if you say block Amazon, you will see that the router has blocked like 500 IPs. Why? Because everything is on like Amazon AWS, or Netflix will stop working. So so you can either pick and choose, or if you don't like something, you can say in a broader group like specific URLs, like specific DNS destinations, or you can also like do a subset, a subset string match, which is like, for example, block googlevideo.google.net. That's it. Like only that particular destination will be blocked. So that's basically how Unpickle works at the very core level.
Yeah, very cool. I want to go into the chat aspect of it because we've all been spoiled. I feel like OpenAI very much changed the game with large language models and how we interact with them just through human type of communication. Clearly, you believe that that is the future of the way we interact with all of our devices. Talk to us about that component because, Yogesh, I picture a future where my parents can say, change our Wi-Fi password to XYZ because they've forgotten the one that I've set up for them. Is that the future?
That is the future, and that's what Unpickle does. Like change Wi-Fi setting, like change your Wi-Fi password from X to Y. Unpickle does exactly that, and and you can do that on a time schedule. So, for example, you say change Wi-Fi password at daytime from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. to your new password, and that is exactly where the future is going. You do not want to be opening a UI, learning about it, and try to be an expert of that UI. That those days are gone. So what we want to do is like we want you to be able to talk to your network. That's exactly where we're headed to, and that's what we're striving to do to perfect it. And what you also do not want with, like, as in all the AI systems, is that you want that precision, because you cannot screw up in case of DNS firewalls. So, for example, if to an Unpickle router you say block all, it means the Unpickle router is paused, like no internet connectivity at all, and then you can say allow Google one at a time. So you have to be precise, and we are driving towards that precision, and we want to make sure via prompts that before you enter a new policy, you know what you're doing, and it'll like interact with the user. It'll ask you questions about, hey, are you sure you want to do this? We're going to do all of this for you, just like any other AI prompts. Like you talk to ChatGPT or Claude, and you want it to be interactive. You do not want to be learning UI. That's a thing that the world is moving away from, and I strongly believe in that.
Yeah, I love that, especially because obviously AI has made these things possible. How much is I don't even want to say the adaptation. I guess at this point it's the ever-evolving nature of AI. How much has that enabled what you've packed into Unpickle? Because it's funny, you and I talking about this stuff, is it sounds futuristic, but listeners, it's here. Yogesh already gave the spoiler alert. It's listed on Amazon. We're going to drop the links at the end of today's conversation. But Yogesh, how much has AI opening its doors and getting more advanced made all of these things possible within Unpickle?
It's amazing how much it has, because with AI, what you can do is like you can drive towards. So if you have an AI model that understands exactly what your APIs are, and then what you can do with those AI tools is that you can have an AI tool that knows exactly what the user is trying to do. It translates that for you, and you keep on like working on the system prompts so that you tune it to exactly what it should do as a result of that particular command or that particular conversation. And then when you're fine with it, you present that back to the device. So yes, we are super excited, and in the long term, we see that this is really going to be a game changer for network control. Like when we fine tune the models and when we fine tune all our inputs and we have the perfect set of commands and controls that enable or disable sources and block them or unblock them from visiting certain destinations, this will be a game changer. It's like those sci-fi movies that you grew up watching. You just look at the device. Hey, show me where this is going. Show me where that particular spaceship is. Show me where this spaceship is headed to, and the system responds to you with exactly the precise answers. And all those sci-fi dreams that you grew up with, they're actually coming true, and it's super exciting.
Yeah, Yogesh, I want to go deeper there. I don't know if you'll have an answer to this question, but it's going to be fun to hear the way you think about it. The way that you've developed Unpickle, it sounds like that ideal futuristic state for us as end users, but I would imagine that you as the founder and CEO, you have even bigger dreams, and you talk about, AI is changing. There are times, Yogesh, where I'm using ChatGPT, and I think to myself, 3 years ago, this didn't exist. Like, we weren't able to do or I guess probably 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we couldn't do any of this. What the heck is it going to look like 5 years from now? I can't even imagine the new capabilities that it's going to have, but 5 years is a massive amount of time. When you look at Unpickle, obviously is going to keep evolving as technology evolves. What more can you do? How do you even dream up these things that are completely hypothetical and futuristic that are going to be reality soon?
Yes, they're already like they most of the things they're already reality. So things that you would have to traditionally look up in the old times, like you would have to press keystrokes in real time, are like already here today and tomorrow. Like for example, you are a government establishment where all your connections are like, hey, I want to block everything and only allow a few number of destinations, or you want to ask your network, what is going on? What happened to this particular packet? How did we get hacked? How did we get compromised? The answers are all there. So that's where we're like today. You would have like all these video shows that you see like online, like any streaming shows. They will show you like an expert who is basically tuned in into a laptop. Hey, this connection originated from this point, then it went to these hops, and finally it landed there. But tomorrow we don't need these experts. Hey, how did this? Like any person just whips up some app that is like intelligent, and they ask questions to it, and the answers are right in front of you without you having to be the expert.
Yeah, it is crazy. You're right. It's out of so many Hollywood shows and movies that we've all seen, and it's here. Yogesh, you mentioned, it perked my ears up right away. You mentioned obviously going in the B2C, direct-to-consumer market at this point in your launch plan. Like ITs, you're already listed on Amazon, but I think about, it's just where my strategic mind goes, I think about all of the B2B opportunities. And when I was in college, which I graduated in 2011, it feels like ages ago, but my college, they built in, I think it was things in the walls, or at least that's what they told us, to cut Wi-Fi off in the classroom so that we all had laptops and we'd obviously be messing around on those laptops during lectures. This seems like a way more simple and effective solution. It didn't always work on us. We always had Wi-Fi when we wanted it. How tempting is it for you to enter that B2B market, or is that on the roadmap? Where's your mind go when you think about those enterprise solutions?
Yeah, you just told the words away from me. That's exactly stuff that I'm working on right now. So with Unpickle Local, what happens is you're in the local loop. Local loop meaning this is your house. You have access to like your router. You can talk to your router and you can implement policy. With the B2B, you see the Unpickle constellation, which is basically all of your networks all together in one nice constellation that's shown to you, and you can talk to it. So basically, hey, here's every single one of your devices. Say you have like, you're managing San Francisco and you're managing San Jose and you're managing Seattle. You have 3 networks. Maybe you have 3 houses, and you want to just keep the IoT devices safe. You want to keep the Wi-Fi clients safe, and you want to see what each of them are doing. And in that case, that's where Unpickle B2B fits in. And the app is going to have mostly the same similar interface. It's going to have an AI-powered search and command where you can ask it questions and it provides the answer for you. And apart from that, you also see all the default live data that, and you can pinpoint it. So what is the San Francisco a router on floor 2 doing right now? And you see something that you don't like, you say, hey, block block everything on San Francisco floor 2 router, and that's it, because there's an attack. You see something that you don't like, and that's where we're headed to. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I think it has tremendous potential. Like it is going to be, I believe that it's going to be a game changer, and for you to be able to administer devices this way.
Yeah, it's so interesting knowing, especially off air, I know from your questionnaire and other stuff that I've read about your world, is that you have a very keen interest in the world of cybersecurity. And anytime I have conversations with cybersecurity experts such as yourself, I think about the ever evolving threats. I mean, us as podcasters, we are all very aware of how easy it is to clone voices these days. For example, threats are just getting way more advanced, way quicker. How much do you actively think about the state of cybersecurity? And then, of course, the fact that we as end consumers, we're going to have to confront it. So I'm super curious how much that plays into your marketing messaging, your market positioning, and strategically just the way that you think.
Right, sure. So today, like from what I've seen, people like home users simply don't care that much. But if what happens is, like, if you buy a router like Unpickle and you visit a site like CNN.com or Fox News, any news website for that matter, you will see some really creepy things in there that will get your ears perked up, your eyes wide, and it'll open you up to a whole new slew of things that you didn't know existed. So, and even to make users aware, like it has been a challenge. Like, they just use the router for its routing systems, and maybe they for home users they're just going to use, hey, block this particular device, like block a user, like block my kid from social media for 3 hours. That's what they're going to use it as. But if you go into the very details of what the devices are doing, and what these websites and how these websites are selling your data, and how deep it is rooted inside of, like, how marketing is like really rooted in every single website you visit, it gets really creepy, and it would be real fun to get that message out there, which it has not been so far. So people know that they're already using our marketing data. We know that we are marketing targets for just about every single service that we use today, and there's that little privacy checkbox that you agree to, and past that you're like, you basically don't care. But when you see all these gory things, websites that you don't know exist, it will make you think twice. So that's been the idea behind like opening that up to the app.
Yeah, Yogesh, you and I are doing that right here, right now, in real time together to listeners in over 150 countries, is increasing that awareness, because if we ignore it today, then there will come a tomorrow where we don't have that luxury of ignoring it. So I really appreciate those insights. I want to switch gears a little bit, though, and I don't want to talk just about Unpickle. I want to talk about the entrepreneurial mind behind Unpickle, because obviously you've got skills that transcend both software and hardware, and obviously the way that you've structured Unpickle and built it and brought it to fruition, and it's listed on Amazon. I want to hear, Yogesh, the entrepreneur, how has that been for you? Because obviously you have 2 decades of experience in developing things, but you're not just developing things, you're also running and growing a business. How has that side of the equation been so far?
Yes, so that has been more challenging than you think, because what happens is, like, because Unpickle is an unknown brand, people just will go to the Amazon website. They'll open up, hey, TP-Link, it has sold 10,000 units in the last month, and it has X number of stars, and so let me just buy that. What they don't know is that the US Senate just found out, like, TP-Link doing weird stuff with their hardware, and you don't know where your data is going. So and they were almost going to ban that. I don't know what happened to it, but if you look it up, there's like stuff in the news like that, and they sell like 10,000 units a day, and I was like, why don't I sell 10,000 units a day or a month or whatever it is? So it has been an uphill task to the and B2C is brutal. Like, you get a star less, you get a star more, you sit down and think, hey, how did I fail my users? What can I do to get that user's trust again? What should I do? And we try harder as a startup, and we've been working like days and nights, like entirely just to get to the perfecting the art. And I think, like, it's basically how much I perfect the art and how better I get Unpickle will drive towards the business at the end. So I'm rooting for that. I'm still, and then, like, the other part is, like, so far Unpickle has been funded entirely from my corporate earnings. So everything that I made from my corporate earnings, I invested a little by little inside of this project, and that's basically the stuff on what you see today. Like, all the software that runs on Pickle is basically what I have to show for, and it taught me a lot, and I have like zero regrets about this. Whatever happens in the future is up to the future, but I'm totally optimistic that it's going to succeed. The world needs this, and at the very bottom line of this, I've learned a lot.
Yeah, I love that attitude, Yogesh. And quite frankly, you've got myself and a whole worldwide audience that's also rooting you on from here. And I'm really grateful for you being part of our entrepreneur to entrepreneur movement, because you're such a shining example of someone who's building things and launching them into the world. And it sounds like an incredible product. I've got to sneak this in, though. Tell us about the name Unpickle.
Oh, Unpickle. So pickling is, if you're into Python, and if you code in Python, pickling is a process where you scramble data into bytes, and unpickling is the reverse of that. So you make sense of those bytes and convert them into an object hierarchy. So it's a term in Python. It's pretty common, and it's basically, what it means is it unscrambles the data and presents it to you. So it unscrambles all the complicated protocols, all the complex network data, and presents it to you. It unpickles it for you. So that's where it originates from.
I love that. I love how that technical knowledge has worked its way into an end consumer product that is also very easy for us to pronounce. I think that's an also important part of a brand name. So huge kudos to you on the way that you structure that. Yogesh, I always love asking this question at the end of every interview because it's super broad. You can take it in any direction you want. And that is, what's your one best piece of advice for listeners? Knowing that we're being listened to by both entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs at all different stages of their own growth journeys, and also knowing that you're one of us, you're in the trenches, figuring it out, experimenting, launching, growing. What's that one best piece of advice that you want to leave listeners with today?
The best piece of advice is, like, keep learning. There's there's new exciting stuff, there's new AI stuff, and no matter what happens, I'm like super excited. Any new thing, any new object, the day you stop learning, you're gone. Like, you're dead in the water. You're basically like, you basically, like, outgrown your use. That's what I feel. But even if learning means reading a book, because you read a book, you ingest some new words that you don't know before, whatever it is, it's fun. Like, learn every day, and that's what I take away from it, and that's what will drive Unpickle. If there's a new technology that comes in, I will be reading about it. I will be working on it, and I'm super excited to do that every single day of my life.
Yes, I love that attitude. That's the entrepreneurial spirit right there, Yogesh. And I'm so appreciative for the way that you showed up for us here today. I'm so appreciative of how much you've shared with us about Unpickle, about your own growth journey as an entrepreneur. And I'm really excited to see Unpickle take off from here. I don't want to see any more Eero routers inside of households, Yogesh. I want to see Unpickle, because even just the chat functionality alone makes it so much more accessible. Every time I help anyone from my parents' generation, they have no idea even what apps they have to control their local Wi-Fi router. So I think that this is a way more approachable and accessible approach for everybody. So huge kudos to what you're building. With all of that said, drop those links on us for listeners who want to check out Unpickle. Where the heck should they go from here?
So the listeners, they go to Amazon. They just search for Unpickle, UNpkl, and the first product line is Itchy, Unpickle Itchy. And you can order one or more. If you order one or more, then we automatically ship you a mesh routing system, where you can order a mesh of 2, 3, 4, 5, how many ever you want. But the best way to do that would be to go on to Amazon.com and search for Unpickle Ichi, ICHI.
Yes, I love that. And listeners, you already know that we are making it as easy as possible for you to find Unpickle on Amazon down below in the show notes, no matter where it is that you're tuning into today's episode. Yogesh, I didn't even know about that free mesh network that comes with it when we order more than one. So I love that little added bonus in there. Listeners, don't be shy about checking out that link down below. Otherwise, Yogesh, on behalf of myself and all the listeners worldwide, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.